It is warm, it is crowded, and for the first time this decade, we bring you crosstown action. Bison taking on the Rustlers.
Whether you call it bean bags, cornhole, or just bags, one thing you gotta call it is a whole lot of fun.
This is a young team, this is a hungry team. Only 6 guys coming back from that championship team from last year.
We'll have more on that story coming up later tonight. For now in Great Falls, I'll send things back to you. Bison coming in with a record of 6-1. Their last loss came all the way back in November. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, the Rustlers 2-5, but looking to build off their big win against Belgrade on Saturday.
It was a winter wonderland here this morning in October, but the show must go on for University of Providence. They have 2 soccer games going on tomorrow. Luckily, a few Argos have donated their time to make sure that those games will be.
This is a big game for the Providence Argos, to say the least. They started out 15-0. They've gone 5-4 since then. They got to figure out a way to get the win tonight. Argos, you can't talk about the Argos if you're not going to talk about Zakiya Starko-Kelly, the man with the thunderous dunks, but the man who's not just all about flash, he's all about putting the ball in the hoop.
So we are in week 7 of the football season. I can't believe I'm saying that. It feels like we just started.
Exactly.
We've actually gone through 2 falls, 2 winters. I know the other day you guys had a practice in the snow.
We did.
Tell me about how fun that was. I know that has to be one of the more rewarding parts of your job. Let's talk a little bit more about head coaching. How long have you wanted to be a head coach? Because you've had a few coaching jobs already. Most recently, you were at Great Falls High. So tell me, how long have you had that itch? You've never had a head coaching job before. And that can be a difficult thing for a lot of people. You look in the NFL, you look at college football, a lot of guys struggle in their first year as a head coach. How are you going to kind of ease the transition from going from a non-head coaching role to being the guy?
It's something every father of a ball player dreams of, getting to be the coach for his young slugger or flamethrower.
My favorite part is watching him succeed. That's probably the best part of it, watching him grow.
For 3 years, Ed McNamee has had the best seat in the house to watch his son Cam play ball. And Cam has gotten to learn lessons about the game he loves and also about the game of life.
Baseball is a game where if you fail 70% of the time, you're a Hall of Famer. And there's no other sport that's like that. There's nothing in life that's like that. Through playing this sport, you deal with a lot of failure. I think that's something important in life. It's a really good way to practice not quitting. I think that's a lot of what baseball is.
The game is a test of failure. It's going to test you on how well you can do, how well you can fail, and how well you can bounce back from failure.
But it's not all fun and games. As a matter of fact, Coach Mac, as the players call him, takes the game very seriously. But Cam doesn't get any family discounts.
Treats me the same, and I think that if he didn't, then that would make him a bad coach and make me a bad player.
And with both Coach Mac and Cam living in the same house, there are some negatives that arise from being in close quarters.
Have a bad day, you go home, and you're there, you're already feeling bad, but then the coach is there too.
But for both the McNamee boys, it's all about creating memories that will last a lifetime.
Just watching him go out and prepare every day, I think that's what's been a lot of fun. Is like he knows himself. He knows what his strengths and weaknesses are. He knows how to negate the weaknesses and amplify the strengths.
We went down to Arizona. I threw a bullpen for the academic tryout, and it went really well. And the lunch that we had after that was really good, and we just kind of sat, and we were both in really good moods. And I think that day, that whole weekend was actually one of my best experiences of my life.
With Cam being a rising senior with 2 years left of eligibility, rest assured that next year the Mac Attack will be back. Reporting in Great Falls, Leo Goldman, SWX.
It's a call no one ever wants to get.
And he tells me that there's been an accident.
Tegan Isaacson's mom, Stephanie, died in a car accident nearly 5 years ago. The bond between a mother and son is a strong one. The bond between Stephanie and Tegan, even stronger. Tegan was diagnosed with childhood leukemia.
She was by my side no matter what, through thick and thin. She was my person. And it's tough to lose somebody like that.
Now, after a clean bill of health and nearly 5 years after her death, Tegan is using his own experience to help others. He's a student grief counselor at Centerville, talking with other students about grief, loss, and anything else to help get them through tough times.
He's one of the main reasons I did take the coaching job, at least apply for it. It can be a battle because you're a coach and you're a parent, and you're trying to separate the two, and we try to separate a lot of that at home.
In addition to helping others deal with adversity, Tegan is helping his teammates on the court, right alongside his dad, Josh.
He's a lot harder on me than most people, but he's a good guy and he's a good coach, and I like playing for him, and I wouldn't ever change that.
In his last go-around with the Miners, Teagan's been a top scorer for Centerville all season long and carried that tradition into divisionals last weekend. Teagan led the Miners to a third-place finish, with both his parents looking on.
I guarantee you she's been at everything anyways, and she would want him to keep going. She was that kind of person.
I can tell you that night at the consolation game, I knew she was there, and that was a special thing for me.
As for after graduation, Teagan said that just like he's done for years, he's just going to let things play out and see what life has in store for him.
Welcome into week 4 of the Friday Night Frenzy. Haley, we have got a busy evening tonight. A lot of huge games happening around the Treasure City. Weather outside may be starting to cool down, but the Grizz, they're just getting warmed up. And this is the time for teams to start making a push for the playoffs, separate the pretenders from the contenders. And 2 teams we expect to see in the postseason are Capital and Butte. Well, to quote the Six God Drake, started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Now, I can't confirm or deny that Aubrey Graham was talking about the Great Falls Voyagers 2019 season, but it does fit. But Tony Froelich, fair, sending it back like cold soup at a diner. Almost. Looking for a receiver, he finds Teague Fought up the middle for a big pickup, but the drive stalls out just like my car. Heisman hopeful Justin Herbert shakes off the potential sack and whips a great throw to the best name in sports, Johnny Johnson III, for the Ducks touchdown. Number 2, Glacier taking on Capital, Parker Johnson. He's got no business making this catch, but this is Goldman's golden moments. We don't show incompletions. It was a nail-biter over at the Morningside Elementary Courts with All-Frontier Conference Zacchaeus Darko Kelly taking on another All-Conference player in Jenna Randich in a classic game of horse. Early on, we'll see Randich here taking the shot with a miss. Those double rims can be killer, but check out the early gentlemanly action by Darko Kelly to give Randich another shot that she nails. Later on, the banks must be an essential business because this one is open. Darko Kelly kissing it off the glass, but Randich isn't going down easy. She hits the J here. Darko Kelly will take the letter, but it was game point here for Randich, and the Washington native will get it stuck on the rim, so she gets a redo. And on the redo, it is up and no good. Darko Kelly would get the win. Here's the 2 competitors after this barn burner of a game.